At pangalawa po, sa land, sa ating mga stasyon ng tren, ng mga MRT, inclusive mobility. Meron pong pag-aaral na 80% ng ating mga train stations, ng ating mga MRT, LRT ay hindi accessible sa persons with disability. If I'm not mistaken, in my previous terms, I was the principal author, right, of the PWD law. 80% po ay hindi po accessible sa PWD. Hindi po maarihan, we should have inclusive mobility aside from sustainable mobility. Can someone in charge of the land sector explain elevators and just access to all? So yun lang pong dalawa, and then I will probably ask in the second round. So my maritime question and my inclusive mobility question. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Rail sector, Madam Chair, rail sector, two things. One, existing and the future. On existing, about 98% of elevators of MRT are working. That's directly under the government and therefore DOTR. About 95% of elevators of Line 1 is also working. On the design side, for Metro Manila Subway and the North-South Commuter Railway projects, these observations made by the Rappler, Rappler, and we thank them for bringing this matter out. We already addressed that. The in-depth study investigative report by the Rappler on the accessibility of PWDs. But this is actually understandable because LRT Line 1 was constructed from 1981 to 1983, became operational in 1984, same time in September, well, September 7. Hindi pa ho masyadong sensitive ang mga planners at the time para sa mga differently abled persons. But we are now addressing that in the NSCR. For instance, very, very specific, accessible ramps, handrails in grab bars. They are already embedded in the detailed engineering design. There is a signage and wayfinding, again, embedded in all railway projects. About 3 years and since about 2 to 3 years ago, included in some of the specific tactile maps and emergency exit maps, tactile floor surfaces. These are very detailed, accessible entrances, tactile pots, automatic gates for wheelchair, accessible toilet, accessible elevator, sitting areas, and we can submit this to the committee, Madam Chair, of the inclusiveness of the differently abled persons in the current design of the NSCR and subway and the future railway projects of the government.
Thank you. I'm very confident as long as Yusek Chavez is on top of it. I know he honors his word.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your confidence. So what is a commitment of the good Undersecretary for Inclusive Mobility so that our persons with disability can access all public infrastructure and transport? Because especially the chair has great confidence in you. So we would like to have timelines, Secretary and USEC, for inclusive mobility, especially for the PWDs. Thank you. That's my last question.
On existing railway projects, our priority is to make sure that all elevators are operational. And we're doing that. And that's not only our commitment today, it was our commitment since we joined the government. Second, there are simple matters that should be addressed already, are doable, including the toilets. Sometimes the toilets for PWDs are closed. But these are, this is not a general policy, but our commitment is to make sure that 100% they are operational. Another commitment is that they are already embedded in the current design of the railway projects.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang tanghali po to the DOTR family. Katulad na nabanggit kanina ni Majority Floor Leader, gagayahin ko siya, magsisirang plaka na din ko. Alam mo to ni Madam Chair, every year I've always raised yung issue nung mga locally funded and foreign assisted projects po natin. And in fact, meron hong 3 project that already cost the government 7.46 billion kasi unutilized ho siya or underutilized. Can we just get an update kung ano na ho yung status netong tatlong projects? Well, yung New Manila Area Control Center, yung DOTR MRT3 capacity expansion, tsaka yung Land Transportation Management System. Tuloy po ba ito or nagkakaroon ng pag-uusap kung paano ipagpapatuloy yung programa or totally i-abandon na po ng DOTR?
We have an annual budget of about 7 billion, Madam Chair. That 7 billion is part of the equity rental payment.
Yung successor, ito ho yung, kasi dun sa audit finding, ito ho yung 48 na LRV.
Okay ho. That's the Dalian train po. Oh, the status of the Dalian train po. The first release was about during the time of Pinoy about 560 million, and subsequently under the President Duterte, additional 450 million was released. The reason why it is not yet paid because there are pending technical issues. Number one, pumasok ang gobyerno ng isang loan agreement sa Japan International Cooperation Agency. In that loan agreement, ang rehabilitation and maintenance will be provided by the Sumitomo, a Japanese company. Sa ilalim ho ng concession agreement, nakatali ang kamay ng gobyerno na pagdating sa tumatakbong mga riles, mga bagon ay 18 train sets mula doon sa 72 na mga bagon ho. At kapag lumagpas na ho dyan, ay magbabayad ang gobyerno ng about $2,000 bawat train set. Dahilan po sa pumasok tayo sa kontrata sa ang gobyerno nung previous administration sa JICA ho, ay in effect, ang sinasabi nito, ang magtatakbo lang ay yung 72. Yung 72 na mga bagon ho ay na-complete ang general overhaul in October, end of October of 2022. In other words, may sapat tayong tren para sa MRT3.
Yung 72 ho, ito yung Dalian.
Not yet. Papunta ho ako sa Dalian. Ito pong 72 ho ay sapat na para gamitin. Ngayon, hindi ho nagagamit yung Dalian sapagkat ang na-approve pa lang po ay siyam na mga bagon.
Yung samo, ito ho ba yung prototype?
Opo.
O
Hindi ho.
wala na tayo sa prototype?
Wala na ho tayo sa prototype. Yung 48 ho na mga bagon ay equivalent to about 16 train sets ho. Let me summarize ho. Hindi siya magamit sapagkat may technical issues po tayo. Hindi pa ho. Ang ibinabayad pa lang ho natin is about 1.2 billion out of 3.8 billion po.
Pero may binayad pa rin ho tayo na 1.2.
Opo, nakabayad ang...
Na hindi natin magagamit. Technically.
Hindi pa ho natin nagagamit.
At baka hindi na natin magagamit ever.
Hindi ho. Ang solusyon ho ng ni Secretary Bautista at sa ilalim ng administrasyong ito ay ipaloob sa kontrata natin between 2023 to 2025 ang pag-aayos ng Dalian trains at ang pag-aayos hong ito ay ongoing ang pag-uusap ng Sumitomo, the maintenance provider of MRT3, and the Dalian. Batay ho sa Sumitomo, there are about 3,746 drawings ang dapat isasubmit ng Dalian at the momento ang naisasubmit ng Dalian ay 229 drawings pa lang. Importante ho ang
So parang
drawings.
may pag-uusap po na parang i-refurbish itong train para maging suitable siya dun sa Sumitomo technology. Parang in short, parang ganun ho, di ba?
Maging suitable ho sa maintenance facility ng depo. Sapagkat nasa kontrata ho ng Dalian train na dapat ang dadalhin nilang mga bagon ay dapat compliant sa depo equipment.
Senator Nancy, just to interject, pag tayo hindi nakakapag-comply dun sa requirement ng agreement natin, nagbabayad tayo ng penalty fee. Or commitment fee, yung Dalian ba, walang ganun sa atin?
Gobyerno is liquidated damages po. Liquidated damages imposed against the contractor po.
So hopefully, out of the 3 billion na total na babayaran natin, mababawas doon, di ba? In the end.
Opo,
Okay.
opo. So, ngayon ho, nag-uusap ang Sumitomo at ang Dalian. Importante ho na ang Dalian, at yun din ang sinasabi ng DOTR, to require Dalian to submit the 3,746 drawings because that 3,746 drawings will be the basis of maintenance. Otherwise, paano bibili? Ang pinapadala lang po ng Dalian ay basically the parang concept design. Wala yung parts and components ng Dalian train. Without the parts and components of the Dalian train, how can the Sumitomo, the the maintenance provider, design a maintenance program?
Pero Yusek, hindi ho ba option sa atin na wag na lang natin gamitin totally yung Dalian? Or kung whatever is delivered nung nandito na sa atin ngayon, yun na lang, and then kung ano pa yung balance, wala na. 'Cause I remember it, Madam Chair, noon, and you were part at the beginning of the previous government, ang sinasabi sa amin ni Secretary Togade, parang they were in talks with Dalian dahil to get favorable agreement na parang aayusin na lang. Which I guess walang ganung
Hindi ho siya
pagtatapos sa usapan.
Hindi ho siya nag-succeed. Ang original in 2016, 2017, nung ako po ay nasa DOTR, parang sinabi ho natin sa Dalian, dalhin nyo yan sa Subic, dalhin nyo yan sa Clark, ayusin niyo at your cost para compliant niya siya sa depo. Ang maliwanag naman po na kapag isa sa mga non-compliance ng Dalian, kapag nasira ho siya, dapat inilalagay sa car hoist, hindi po siya compatible. Therefore, that is a violation po. Ngayon, ang ginagawa ho, what is the national interest on Dalian? Ginastusan na po natin, 1.2 billion. The Aquino administration, the Duterte administration, about 1.2 billion already. At nandito na ho, pwede namang ayusin pa. So, the national interest is whether or not i-proceed natin sa paggagamit. Ngayon, ang gobyerno ho ay nakikipag-usap sa JICA/Sumitomo na pwede ba ayusin nyo na yan para pag technically compliant, mag-minus plus na lang tayo sa babayaran sa Dalian para magamit na natin to. Bakit kailangan gamitin ito at bakit madiliin? Sapagkat parte ho ng kontrata ng gobyerno sa Sumitomo/JICA ay yung mga bagon ngayon na nag-ooperate is about 3-car train. Ang objective ho natin sa loob ng 2023 to 2025, yung 3-car train ay maging 4-car train. Ang 3-car train is 1,108 ang pasahero ho. Kapag ka naging 4-car train ho yan, ay magiging 1,450 ang pasahero. At dahil sa bahagi ng Sumitomo project ko ay systematic rail replacement signaling system, ina-expect ko natin ng mga 3 minuto ang headway. Ang pagdating ng bagon, ng train sa bawat istasyon, kung magaganap po siya, mas mabilis ang takbo at paghakot, pagsakay ng mga pasahero at kailangan natin ng tren. So kailangan natin ng Dalian.
So anong time frame ho niyan? Because alam niyo naman, Yusek, hanggang ngayon, yung riding public natin sa MRT, ang haba pa rin ng pila. It's still the same problem. Hindi pa rin natin nabibigyan ng solusyon itong problema ng ating mga kababayan na sumasakay sa MRT.
In fairness po sa Duterte administration, naayos ho ang MRT3 sometime 2018, 2019 sapagkat maliban sa ang mga elevators ay fully operational, nagkaroon ng systematic replacement, naayos ang general overhaul, ang halos lahat ng bagon. Well, may contribution ang Marcos administrations for about 12 na bagon na natapos. So, in other words, nagamit ho. Ang dahil nagamit ho siya ay ang pila ho na nakikita ho natin sa mga kalsada at sa mga istasyon ng MRT3, I think let's put a proper context sapagkat about 40% ho ng mga mananakay natin ayaw nila ng stored value. Mas gusto nilang bumili ng ticket at pumila araw-araw sapagkat ang dahilan, wala kaming sapat na pera, wala kaming 300, 500 pa ilagay sa stored value. Therefore, 40% ho ng mga mananakay natin sa MRT3, which is also happening in MRT Line 1 and Line 2, ay mga single journey
So parang
ticket.
tingi-tingi.
Tingi-tingi ho.
Tingi-tingi.
Yan po ang katotohanan ko bakit may pila pa rin. Pero hindi na ho siya katulad ng dati.
Siguro, Yusek, baka maganda na bigyan niya ng incentive pag if they baka may less 20 pesos or discount. Baka may
Discounted ho.
ganun,
Discounted ho.
Pero
ang
wala
stored
pa rin
value.
takers.
Sometimes, ang karaniwang stored value ay 500 to 1,000. Sa mga ordinary natin mga mananakay, papunta ng Makati, papunta ng Pasay, papunta ng Green Hills. So, mas pinipili ho nila.
Thank you, Yusek.
Single.
Kung sa Malolos naman ho. Malolos Clark Railway Project.
Madam Chair, if I may cover po, Malolos Clark and New Cebu and somehow po yung earlier projects. Madam Chair, if we may just clarify po, the commitment fees that we incur and that we pay for our foreign assisted projects are not necessarily penalties po.
But regardless, Yusek, but at the end of the day, meron tayong binayaran na X amount, di ba? Whether, di ba, may kahit anong paliwanag, nagbayad tayo ng 90 million for delayed projects. Di ba? So, I mean, I don't see any justification dun sa pagbayad natin na hindi naman dapat natin binabayaran kung nai-implement on time yung mga project.
Madam Chair, most of the commitment fees that we pay are not because the projects are delayed. Even if a project po is fully on time or even ahead of schedule, we still have to pay commitment fees because, for example po, let's use Cebu BRT as an example. The loan po was entered into in, not a good example. Let's use Elsa Greenways po. The loan was entered into in December 2020. It had a 3-year implementation period. So the loan po is around 6 billion pesos. Yung 6 billion po na yon, that is not spent in 1 year. So let's say for example po, 2 years in, original plan po to, 2 years in 2021, 2 years in 2022, 2 years in 2023. 2 billion. 2 billion for each year po. So for year 1 po, yung 2 billion na nagamit, magiging utang na po yun. So for which we will pay interest. But the 4 billion na hindi pa po nagamit noong year 1, but which we borrowed already, we still pay commitment fee. So even if we were able to implement po EDSA Greenways on time, we would have still paid for commitment fees for the undisbursed portion of the loan. But Madam Chair, that is not to
Pero
say...
yung sinasabi ko naman na 94 million, yung 4 projects na yan, it's because of the delayed implementation.
Madam Chair, if you're referring po to the
Sorry, that
OCOA report po, yes po, meron pong portion that is really attributable to delay po, Madam Chair.
so kahit anong paikot-ikot mo na it's not because of delay, it's still delayed. Diba?
Apo. Yes, Madam Chair, yes po.
Delayed talaga. Huwag mo nang anuhin, pagandahin.
Madam Chair, if I may po sa New Cebu International.
Yeah, ano na tayo kasi we're kulang na tayo sa time. Can we just proceed dun sa Malolos Clark? Because I think they've already explained, but can we just get the status of the Malolos Clark? Delayed din po to, diba? Or ito yung kasi from Chinese to...
What is about Malolos to? Malolos to Clark po is Asian Development Bank. Opo, that's a Asian Development Bank and wala ho tayong, I'm not too sure po kung ano po yun, but it was just awarded a year ago.
Parang I remember ho, during the previous budget, I think right-of-way ata problema dito.
Yes, but let me inform this committee, Madam Chair, that only 23% is private. We are using PNR alignment, and therefore this is available construction sites for the civil works. About only 23% private po. From Manila to
Tapos kailan
Malolos.
na ho ito mag-ooperate?
Ang aming in the updated commitment po, it's by 2027 we expect to complete the civil work, the station of Clark, Angeles, San Fernando, including Minalin, Apalit, Malolos, 2M, Malolos, May Kawayan, 2B, Balagtas, Bukawi, including West Valenzuela po. Maganda ho ito because other civil works po as high as 84%. That's Balagtas. Yung iba ho ng mga civil works, we're talking here of about 7 stations from West Valenzuela to Malolos and about 66 stations from Malolos to Clark. Ang nag-average na po tayo ng 35%. Yung iba ho ay nasa 60 to as high as 84%. Yung iba ho ay nasa 23%. Ang expectation ho natin by 2027, partially operational na po ito. sapagkat ang civil works po ay basta't na dyan na ho ang right of way, aabutin ng dalawang taon. Pagkatapos ng 2 taon, you would need at least 1.5 years para sa electromechanical and you would need 6 months para sa testing and commissioning ho. Based on the contractors ho and the consultants, Japanese-based consultants ho, by 2027, substantially 7 stations, Manila to Malolos, 6 station of Malolos to Clark will be completed po.
Thank you, Yusek.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Senator Robin Padilla.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Marami po akong dinig na magandang balita no, para sa mga tiga Norte. Para naman po sa South, gusto ko lamang pong itanong, ano pong balita sa Philippine National Railway South Long Haul? Kasi matagal na po namin inaantay ito sa Bicol. Alam nyo, lumaki po ako sa train dyan sa Bicol. Nami-miss na po namin. Kung sana dumating po yung panahon. Ano po bang balita? Magkakaroon na po bang magandang balita sa amin?
Okay, Madam Chair, ang PNR South Long Haul ay Calamba to Daraga Albay.
Opo.
That's phase 1. Ang phase 2 ho ay Daraga Albay, papunta ho ng Matnog, Sorsogon. Ang phase 3 ho ay Chaong, Quezon, going to Batangas Port. At ang phase 4, Calamba, papunta ng Sucat. Ang package 5 po niyan ay rolling stock and electromechanicals po. Sa kasalukuyan po ay nakakontrata ang gobyerno sa China Exim Bank. It's about 14 billion para sa project management consultancy. Katulad po ng loan sa JICA at Asian Development Bank, kapag ka ang katulad ng China at ang Japan, Asian Development Bank ang nagpapautang, ang dalawang kondisyones ho doon ay number 1, ang consultancy or project supervisor ay galing sa kanila. At ang contractor din po ng civil works, rolling stock, electromechanical ay galing din sa kanila. Sa Calamba to Daraga Albay, ang project management consultancy ay CRDC, China Railway Design Corporation. Ongoing po ang trabaho ho nila. Opo,
Going na po.
consultancy pa lang po yun.
Okay po.
Yung civil works,
Yung,
sa
maputol ko po kayo, sir. Yung pong sinasabi sa NEP na meron 3 billion na alokasyon para sa proyektong ito, sa consultancy, ano po ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Ano po ba ang saklaw nun?
ang saklaw po ng project management consultancy number 1 ay gumawa ng terms of reference para doon sa mga procurement katulad ng civil works. Pangalawa ho is project management supervision hanggang sa defects liability. Sila po ang bisor ng proyekto at sila din po ang nagre-revise ng design. Nagkasama rin sa trabaho nila ay yung parcellary survey at pagdidisenyo kung saan ang alignment, kung anong klaseng istasyon, ilan ang laki, ilan ang haba, ano ang klaseng height, may embankment, paano ang mga bridges. Sila ho ang gumagawa nun, kaya po malaki po yun. Sa international standard, that is acceptable ho. And sometimes, before the Duterte administration, ang project management consultancy of an international contract is about 3 to 5%. In this case, umabot po ng 7%. And that is acceptable also in the international community ho. So mayroon ho tayong project management consultant. Pero yung civil works na gagawa ng 34 stations ho, papunta ho ng Bicol, ay wala hong pundo na dumating. So may pinirmahan si Secretary Tugade sometime in February of 2022 para sa civil works, pero hindi ho na ipadala ng China Exim Bank ang pondo. And therefore, sa panahon ni Secretary Dominguez ng Finance, dito ho ang transportation ay implementing agency lang. The one that applies the loan, negotiates the loan, signs the loan, is DOF po. Therefore, si Secretary Dominguez at the time, Secretary of Finance, siya ho ang nagsabi sa China Exim Bank, kung hindi ninyo bibigyan ng pondo, considered our loan application withdrawn. Pagkatapos ho ng May 30, walang sagot ang China Exim Bank. Nagsulat ho si Secretary Dominguez sometime in June, middle of June 2022. Wala kayong sagot. Therefore, considered withdrawn. Sa ngayon ho, wala ho tayong loan sa China Exim Bank. So, nakatenga ho ang South Long Haul. Ang pinag-aaralan po ng ating kalihim dito.
Sir, nakatenga. Bali, wala po itong ngayong kalinawan.
Tama ho kayo. Sapagkat meron lang po tayong project management consultancy. Yung 3 billion ho ay hindi lang po siya tungkol sa part ho kasi ng ang trabaho ng gobyerno ay ang right of way pati na ang ISF. Tanong, ano ang direction consultancy? May mga nakatinggang trabaho din ang gobyerno tulad po sa Asian Development Bank, sa JICA. Ang trabaho ho ng gobyerno ay right of way, relocation of utilities ho. Pagkatapos so ay relocation of ISF, yung mga informal settlers po, at yung pagbibili ng lupa. Sa ngayon, ang 3 billion po ay nakalaan para sa relocation ng ISF. Bakit po mayroon tayong ganyan? Sapagkat habang wala ka pang pondo galing sa China Exim Bank, ino-operate na po natin papunta ng Bicol. So in other words, long-term, medium, immediate, tactical, operational, in medium term, and long-term ho, kahit i-terminate ho natin at mapunta sa iba, or kahit existing yung project, kailangan pa ho nating i-relocate yung mga ISF sapagkat under the Marcos administration, pinagana ho natin ang trend, existing PNR alignment from San Pablo to Lucena. Ngayon ho ay binuksan ho natin, lumang alignment pa ho ito, lumang trend pa ho ito, lumang istasyon pa ho ito.
Opo.
Para nagagamit, halimbawa po, may
Pa pong umaabot sa Bicol. Wala pa.
may existing operation pero luma. Si Poco to Naga at binuksan natin last August 2, Naga to Ligao, which means meron na tayong operation ho doon. Tapos yung ating Calamba to San Pablo, operational na ho yan. At yung ating San Pablo to Lucena, naging operational na po yan. In other words, kung ano man ang interest ng gobyerno, whether it's going to be China, Asian Development Bank, or PPP.
May study na po kayo, gano'n, nagawa na.
Opo. May study na po tayo.
Okay po. Meron lang pong follow-up doon. Bakit po naiwan yung Camarines Norte? Medyo parang aping-api kami. Parang lahat po dinaanan eh. Lahat dumaanan eh. Biglang kumanan. Nakakalimutan yung kaliwa. Oo parang bakit po kaya? Ano?
Ako po ay Bicolano din,
Opo.
Madam Chair.
Ano pong nangyari sa Camarines Norte kaya?
Kahit noon pa ho, policy ho. Kung idadaan ho sa Camarines Norte. Well, ano ang future line? Ang future line, ang future ho, not in this present project ho. Dito sa Manila to Daraga ho, yung pinarma ni Secretary Tugade, ay wala po talaga ang daet. Ang dapat po ng daet ay
ngayon po sa administrasyon po ninyo, hindi ba yung magagawa ng paraan na masama kami?
Ang pinag-aayos po natin ay Sparline. Ibig sabihin no, may biyahe mula say
Total, meron namang 3 billion na study dyan. Ba't isama nyo na kami dyan?
Senator, nasa menu po ng Department of Transportation na isama yung study ho niyan. Ang ongoing lang study po ngayon ay Manila to Matnog, Sorsogon. Pero yung binabanggit ho namin, nakalatag na ho ang mga future studies natin. Kasama ho ang Sparline papunta ho ng Camarines Norte.
So, sir, meron na po papuntang Camarines Norte.
Wala pa ho. Kasama ho yan sa plano po, pero wala pa ho tayong pondo para sa papunta ng Camarines Norte.
Hindi po pwede isingit yan. Isingit nyo kami. Ang lapit lang po no, no? Ilang kilometro lang yun. Camarines Norte. 19 kilometers. Alam niyo po, sir, ganito yan eh. Kung gusto po natin talagang harapin ng peace and order dito sa bansa natin, dapat alam natin kung saan yung mga lugar na talagang may poverty. At talagang alam natin kung saan namumulaklak yung tinatawag nilang pagtawag sa revolusyon. Kapag ganyan po, na lagi kaming naiiwan, katulad yan, humihingi din kami ng airport sa inyo. Yung airport namin, kanina, binanggit ng mga kapatid namin senador dito, may Antique, may Bukidnon. Yung Camarines Norte, ang kailangan lang namin, rehabilitation lang. Pangalawang taon na namin lang lumuluhod. Huwag nyo naman kaming kalimutan. Hindi lamang ang senador dito, hindi lamang si Chis Escudero. Senador din ako.
Sir.
Oh, ang napakapangit naman pakinggan nung puro matnog sursugong kayo dyan. Paano naman yung Camarines Norte? Kawawa naman kami. Alam niyo po ba ang airport diyan sa Dait, kapag nailagay nyo yan, makikinabang din po dyan ng Quezon. Makikinabang din po dyan ang malalapit na bayan ng Camarines Sur. At doon po sa lugar namin, wala po dyan problema kahit itanong nyo po sa Kaap. Diyan po sa Naga, humihingi sila 11 billion yata ang hinihingi nila para sa airport nila. Kami ho, 250 million lang. May airport na kami. Busted na kami sa train, busted pa rin sa airport. Ang napakasawing pag-ibig naman ito.
Sir?
Sa sarili,
Meron po kaming runway, rehabilitation lang po ang kailangan po namin.
With the indulgence of Senator Padilla, ako muna mag-chair. Si PNR General Manager Regino would like to say something.
Sir.
Pero siguro bago kayo po, no, I defended the budget of the OTR in the past. Nandun naman po sa South Long Haul, Senator Padilla, yung spur line talaga magkakaroon po sa Dait, and we will make sure pag natuloy na yung South Long Haul, lalagyan natin. In fact, yung mga PNR lines, yung mga narrow gauge PNR trains, yun yung gagamitin natin for the spur lines. Yung mga bagong train na ginagamit na ngayon. Sige pa, Mr. Regino, pakituloy po.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, magandang hapon po. Ako po si Jeremy Regino, General Manager ng PNR. Para sa kaalaman po ng publiko, in a span of 1 year po, since the Marcos administration po, we already are operating, PNR is already operating an additional 220 kilometers of rail line since August po. Nabuksan po natin ang San Pablo to Lucena at pagkatapos po Naga City to Ligao of Albay. Hinggil po at we were able to do this because we were able to increase the operational train sets of PNR from a low of 7 train sets in September of last year to more than 100% to 15 train sets as of last month. Hinggil po naman dito ho sa at kaya dito ho sa Peña Francia celebration po natin etong September po, mararamdaman na po natin at ng ating mga kababayan sa Bicol ang presence ng PNR. In fact po, with the instructions of our secretary po, ang mga PWD at saka mga senior citizens, libre po sila ng pasahe dito sa Peña Francia celebration po natin. Hinggil naman po sa Camarines Norte po, ginagawan po namin ng paraan na magkaroon ng spur line, yung sinasabi po ni Senator Ejercito po.
Maputol ko po kayo. Kanina sabi ni Senator JB, meron na. Ngayon pa lang gagawan nyo ng paraan. Ano ba talaga?
Ito po, ginagawan po kasi kailangan po muna natin ng feasibility study. Yun po ang ginagawa natin ngayon. Yun ang gagawin natin feasibility study for the spur line to Camarines Norte po. Bearing in mind na modernize ang South Long Haul natin. So ganun hindi natin parang ang nangyari po dito sa Metro Manila, hindi nadaanan ng NSCR ang Nabotas. Ang solusyon natin sa mga taga Nabotas po ay magkaroon po tayo ng spur line na didikit po sa NSCR. Ganon din po sa Camarines Norte, magkakaroon tayo ng spur line na didikit po sa South Long Haul. Kaya hindi maka-cut off ang mga tao dito. At saka ang mga lumang alignment po natin, gagawin po natin itong heritage lines because these are the two tourist alignments po. So hindi tayo masasayang dito. We will still continue to maintain these heritage lines po.
Magandang balita po yan. Mga kailan po kaya namin aasahan yan, boss?
Mina po sa DOTR ang sasagot. Ang in charge po ng pagpaplano ay ang opisina ng Undersecretary for Planning and Development. At ang commitment po nila ay maisasama sa GOP, maisasama sa FS Fund. Is this year? Oh, this year daw po, Senator. Sabi ho ng Planning Department ng DOTR, 2024 po kasama na sa FS.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just have three important, siguro just 3 points because of the time constraints. Siguro tuluyan ko na lang po yung railway concern na ni Senator Robin. I'm very happy, Madam Chair, that North-South Commuter Line is already almost full blast. By 2028, we can already expect the operation of North-South Commuter Line serving Laguna, Metro Manila, up to Clark. And also the Metro Manila subway system, no? Yung pong, siguro tuluyan ko na yung South Long Haul, no? Kasi yun na, in fact, Mr. Chair, Senator Robby, no, yung Bicol region is one of the richest, I think. Kaya lang, sa classification, poorest kasi because of, isolated because of distance. So now that we understand yung South Long Haul and Mindanao Railway System, dapat to China Exim Bank, no? So paano, what are our options already now, so that we'll know also what to do, no, in terms of support to for the railway projects. As mentioned by you, Cesar, medyo sa ngayon, medyo ano siya, hindi pa tuloy, no, nakatenga, sabi nga, no. But so what's our options now for the South Long Haul and Mindanao Railway System?
Before you reply, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Alan Cayetano.
First, just want to clarify, Madam Chair, Clark to Calamba NSCR will not be completed, the entire NSCR system will not be completed by 2028 po. We expect, ka-award lang po ng civil works contract ng Manila to Calamba. Ang nauna lang po is Alabang to Calamba, at we do not expect that the Solis Tutuban will be completed by 2028, pero ang what we can commit based on the scientific presentations by the consultants, the 7 stations from Valenzuela to Clark po, just to clarify that. Pagdating naman sa South Long Haul ho, again, ang role ng Department of Transportation is implementing agency. The one that applies the loan, negotiates the loan, signs the loan is the Department of Finance. Kung ano ho ang policy direction, we will leave to them. May mga internal discussions po, but we would rather the Department of Finance do the talking, and wala po sa level. But mayroon hong ongoing na mga pag-uusap po dyan, but on a policy side, kung ano nang option namin, we would rather the Department of Finance make the official statement if so desires po.
So it's the economic team that will
Mayroon ho kami
decide
discussions, mayroon ho din kami mga proposals, but we leave it to the economic team po, especially the Department of Finance on the way forward on the South Long Haul pagdating ho sa finance options.
So ito, Yusek, pati yung Mindanao Railway, no, yung Tagum Digos, ngayon put on hold as of the moment.
Opo, opo.
Yeah, because it's very important because we do not want to have a perception na Manila-centric North-South Commuter Line. Siyempre, that will serve Metro Manila and Central Luzon and Southern Luzon. Mindanao Railway System will be very vital, not only for economic development in Mindanao, but also for lasting peace, I think, in Mindanao.
As far as Department of Transportation, Madam Chair, is concerned, Mindanao Railway Project, the 103-kilometer project, 8 stations, Tagum, Davao, Digos is still very, very important. Again, we leave it to the economic team to finally decide. Meron ho ba kami mga suggestions? Yes po. But we leave it to the economic team and the Department of Finance po to do that. To do
Yes,
the
hopefully,
talking on the
hopefully we will have other options already, considering the situation, Madam Chair, with China right now. So I'm hoping that we can already have other alternatives. No, we will talk to the economic team, and be rest assured that this committee last year, nung na-cut into half ang budget, Madam Chair, ng from the HGAB, we restored, no, in the Senate. We'll make sure that this committee will really support the railway projects because this will really help stimulate economic growth.
Then pakalawang question, sir, is yung sa Mindanao Railway System, ano ba talaga yun? Dead na yun or still alive? Para maklaro natin.
Hindi po. Ang tingin ho namin, ang Mindanao Railway Project, yung Tagum, Davao, Digos, that 8 stations and about 103 kilometers is very, very, very important. In fact ho, nag-request ho kami sa DBM ng about 5 billion para doon po sa acquisition ng right-of-way. Hindi po kami pinagbigyan.
Okay, so alam niyo kung binigyan
We're
kayo,
not giving up po. We're not giving up on that project po.
you're not giving up. So may pag-asa pa.
Ang tingin ko po, importanteng decision ng previous economic team ho yan at sinasang-ayunan ng kasalukuyang liderato ng Department of Transportation. Kahit sa NEDA, sa economic team discussions ho, hindi siya inaalis po.
Okay, thank you. Kasi yung last administration, nakiusap ako kay Secretary Tugade. Sabi ko kay Secretary Tugade, Sir, baka pwede mong iwasan konti yung aking bahay dahil matatamaan yung aking bahay sa yung
Santa Cruz.
railway,
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Opo.
Tapos sabi ni Secretary Tugade, sabi niya hindi talaga kayang iwasan yan, Sen, dahil kung iwasan namin, mas malaki ang gagastusin ng gobyerno. Kaya sabi ko, sige lang sir, gibain niyo yung bahay ko. Hindi ako, I will not get in the way of development. I will sacrifice my house. Gibain niyo yan, basta matuloy na yung project. Ay, hindi ko i-donate ha. Magbabayad rin ako ng just compensation. Babayad ako ng just compensation yan. May expropriate ba niyo yan, di ba?
Nakaumang na po yung LGU ng Santa Cruz. Mayroon na po tayong na-download na pondo sa kanila. Sila po ay ready.
Last na yung
Offer
akin.
to buy po.
Last na yung
Dali po
akin.
sa inyo.
Last na yung akin. Basta ang akin lang is, maklaro ba? Kasi naghakot ako ng gamit eh. Tinanggal ko na yung mga gamit doon kasi gigibain na daw eh. Kaya, nilipat ko na yung gamit. So ngayon, ibalik ko na naman yung gamit ko, di ba? Kasi hindi pa man siguro mas tuluyan.
Hindi po namin binabago ang alignment.
Yes.
Pero hindi ho masama kung ibabalik nyo muna yung mga gamit.
Okay.
Sapagkat wala pa akong pondo.
Okay.
Wala
Thank
pa
you.
akong pondo. Pero may mag-offer to buy na po sa inyo ang LGU Santa Cruz. Nasa kanila na po ang pondo.
Alam ko, bata ko yung mayor ng Santa Cruz eh. Bata ko yun. Huwag kang mag-alala doon. Pero yun ang sa akin lang na mukhang matagal pa. Mukhang matagal pa, no?
Wala pa ho tayong...
Wala pang kasiguruduhan. Maganda para hindi masira yung bahay ko. Anyway, kung tutuloy talaga nyo yan, I'm willing to sacrifice my house. Gibain nyo yan. Kasi kung iwasan ninyo, malaki daw ang gastos talaga. Kung iwasan ninyo. Sige lang, okay lang sa akin. Pero, babalik ko muna ang gamit ko, ha? Wala pa? Okay. Madam Chair, yun lang. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Fair market value ang bayad dyan, di ba? Hindi naman
Opo.
zonal.
Opo.
Okay. So pag tumagal, baka tumaas pa yung market value niya na general.
The other one, Mr. Secretary, is I saw in the 2024 NEP that the rail program has increased by about 81%, no, to 163 billion. No? So napakalaki po ang increase ng rail sector in your budget, and I support that. I support the call of our colleagues to expand the rail sector to different parts of the country, including Mindanao. However, alam ni Yusek Batanto, ang rail sector is always the perennial underutilized funds. No? Madalas ho natin naka-question to pagdating sa disbursement and sa obligation. Just to give you an example, in 2022, the disbursement rate is only 11%, no, for the rail sector. So my question is, what's new? Ano ba yung bago nating gagawin para hindi perennial underutilized ang rail sector? What reforms? I asked this in 2022, I think, no? That's when the secretary is only a few months into the job. Now he has full knowledge and full control of the department. So what reforms are you undertaking to improve the spending, particularly on the rail sector? Because we're increasing that by almost 100%. We're doubling the allocation of the rail sector to 163 billion. So that's my first question, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Gatchaliano. The increase po is because for the 2024 NEP, this will include loan proceeds utilization, no? Doon po sa 2023 GAA, these are just GOP, no? So that's the reason po for the big increase in the budget for the rail sector, no? So manggagaling po ito dun sa loan proceeds, no? Because in the past, yung loan proceeds po is not part of GAA, no? Nasaan program siya, no?
But Secretary, the question is, how can we utilize? No, the problem with the rail sector, and this has been a perennial problem, is underutilization and absorptive capacity. So, what reforms are you undertaking so that the next time around, hindi naman 11% ang disbursement ng rail sector? No, I know it's
Yes.
there's a lot of activities that you need to improve, but in a nutshell, what reforms are you undertaking to improve the absorptive capacity of the rail sector?
Actually, Senator, we are now closely working with all the contractors, no? When we started the administration of the Department of Transportation in 2022, July of 2022, there are many contractors who have not been paid for almost a year, no? But right now, we are up to date in the payment of our contractors, no? As long as they have submitted complete documents, no? I meet on a regular basis the contractors on a quarterly basis, no? For them to be able to give us updates of their performance, no? We talk about problems, issues, concern, no? So that they will be able also to pay them on time and for them to be able to do their projects on time also, no? So the finance department of the OTR now is closely monitoring all the payments, no? We see to it that within 56 days, we'll be able to release the funds after they have submitted all complete documents, no? So we're working closely with all these contractors, no?
Secretary, again, no, it's important to emphasize that in the allocation of the rail sector, we need to improve the absorptive capacity.
Yes,
That's been a long time problem. And I'm happy to hear that you have engaged the contractors, improved payment procedures, but we need to monitor this very carefully. No? And considering that almost a big chunk of your budget, almost 80% of their budget will go to the rail sector. No? So
Yes,
that's
sir.
important to monitor.
Yes.